Hello, everybody. MechZardX here, back at it again to give you another very exciting video. And for today, you know what? We're right off the heels of Black Friday as well as Cyber Monday and all that stuff. If you manage to get some good deals, I'd love to hear about it in the comment section down below, though. But, not for everybody out there. Some people manage to get those deals. Sometimes you don't, or sometimes you're last minute Christmas shopping and trying to hustle out there and you just happen to miss these sales. They're a little earlier in the season. Christmas comes almost about a whole month later, and then some though. So in this video, I just want to kind of go through and just give my personal picks for games that I highly recommend, games I had played or I had known that they have like a great reputation of, to where I can easily recommend it to everybody out there. For those that might be new into getting into gaming in general, or at least with this current gen of consoles that we have out in the market right now, or maybe you're someone out there that's just kind of trying to think of what possibly give to either your kids or maybe a good friend or somebody or a good family member, or maybe you're on the receiving end, but you just kind of want to know what's out there. Just from my personal select, I got y'all covered. I got y'all covered though. So if you hadn't already done so, make sure you go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video.
Rivers of destruction, hear out my command. Rivers of destruction, again and again. Rivers of destruction, hear out my command. Rivers of destruction, again and again.
So in this video, in terms of the recommendations I'm going to be giving to y'all today, it's going to be heavily invested within the PlayStation ecosystem as well as the Nintendo Switch ecosystem. I will throw a bone out there for those that like Xbox. I'll just have that squeezed somewhere in the middle between these two. But let's go ahead and kick it off with the PlayStation side of things, because if you want a brand new console, there is a new version of the PS5 that's currently out. And, there's not... People like to call it the PlayStation 5 Slim. That's just kind of the street name for it, though. But it's basically the newer version model, or you could say a version 2 for the PS5, where, yes, you do have a detachable disk drive with this system, though. Now, the main kicker with this one is if you happen to be in the market for getting a PS5, there's two good bundles out there that could essentially give you a free game. And one of them is the PlayStation 5 bundle with the brand new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 edition. Get that system, get the game included with it. It is a digital copy for $500. Or probably the more hot item, especially if you're somebody that wants to get a first party Sony game, and you can get the PS5 attached with it, a digital version of Spider-Man 2. And you can get both of those things for $500 though. Now keep in mind, this little edition is a little bit different. If you wanted to stand the console up vertically like how you see it advertised everywhere though, you will have to buy like a separate little thing to actually hold it up vertically. It's the dumbest thing ever. Don't even ask me why though. But there is like a couple of clips that basically allow you to sit the console down horizontally. That's how it will come default though. Now there is a digital version for the PS5 out there that's floating around. That's about $450. And if for some reason you happen to give it to somebody in the future and you wanted to get the disk drive with it, don't fret. You can do that at a later given point. But they are selling that detachable disk drive for $80 at that MSRP though. So, you can't go wrong with either edition though. But I would highly recommend just go ahead and just paying the higher end. Save yourself maybe about a few bucks here and there though, and just go ahead and get the game that's bundled with it. Now, if you're looking for a good slew of games to kind of get you going for your PS5 console, these recommendations are going to be games that have came out recently within the past year, but you can obviously go back and find older games such like God of War, Ragnarok, or also Last of Us Part 1. Like you can get games like that have already been out there for the market for at least a little bit of time though. So you can do that though, but these are some more recent things that have dropped within this past year though. So first up on my list, I have Final Fantasy 16. Now that was a game that literally came out during the middle of the summer, roughly. And actually, as of the time I'm recording this right now, I do see it's still on sale for about $40 MSRP roughly. Normally these Square Enix games, they sell for $70. So I'm like, hey, you know what? If you're somebody that happen to love the Final Fantasy franchise and stuff, you might want to go ahead and pick this one up. Prices could change and vary and fluctuate from the time you're watching this video to the time you're trying to make this purchase, whether it be online or in a retailer or something like that though. But I have been noticing that that game has been trekking a little bit lower, so maybe it'll be one of those hot items that actually managed to stay lower than that original $70 MSRP. So just kind of keep your eye out and stay open and stay vigilant on that. Now, this next game is technically a multi-platform game. You can pick it up on PlayStation, you can get it on Xbox, or you can get it on the Nintendo Switch though. But Sonic Superstars, it's the latest 2D entry for Sonic, and you can have pretty good ways to play this game. Because yes, actually there is a multiplayer mode in there, so you can play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, even Amy. Four people running simultaneously. There is no online mode where you can go through and play through that game with just your friends online. There is none of that though. However, nonetheless, it's still a solid experience. It's nothing like absolutely crazy. I wouldn't say it's as good as Sonic Mania though, but if you're just trying to find an easy game just to kind of give to a kid or something like that though, I mean, it's solid out there. So Sonic fans, you know what? This is a very doable game for y'all right here. So if you're in the market for a brand new hot fighting game in general, there are two games out there. There is Mortal Kombat, one that's just recently came out though. However, the one I would personally recommend is Street Fighter 6. Between that, new single player campaign and everything else it has to offer, I mean, you can't go wrong with this one. This is probably the most accessible fighting game on the market, just period. Capcom put a lot of love and care up into this one. Like that single player campaign is really robust. So you have like a new created character and stuff like that. Even whenever you're doing just a standard online hub, they have like certain old school Capcom fighting games that they put in the rotation. It's a little different almost every day or so that you can actually go through and play some even old school games within this new one right here. So I don't think you can necessarily go wrong if you're happen to be somebody that just really love fighting games. Make sure to keep your eye on Street Fighter 6. Now, this next pick is a little more of an acquired taste though, but Hogwarts Legacy was a game that came out earlier this year. There are versions for the Xbox and the PlayStation 1 that are the high end. Those are the ones I highly recommend though. But now there is an edition now that where you can actually pick it up on the Nintendo Switch as well though. But if you have those stronger consoles, I recommend getting like the PS5 version or something like that though. But if you had to be somebody that only has one console, that'd be Nintendo Switch though. I mean, you can pick it up there as well though. But this is personally one of my most favorite games. I definitely dare say maybe in my top 6 games of the whole entire year though. But I can't recommend this game highly enough. Although it's a little more of an acquired taste because you gotta love the Harry Potter series. I wouldn't even say that. Maybe, I mean, even if you're not in the Harry Potter series, it's not like it's following like the actual books or the movies themselves, like that current timeline. It's technically like way before that though. But I mean, you know what? I still would highly go through and just recommend this to y'all because I mean, it is a really solid game. It's a pretty good adaptation. Resident Evil 4. Now, that is technically one of the games that did manage to go down as, Game of the Year contender for the nominees for the Game Awards, though. I don't think it necessarily will win it, but you know what? You just never know. You never know, though. But it is one of the remakes done by Capcom this year, though. I mean, it's gotten a ton of praise and stuff. If you're looking for just a creepy game, while yes, most people will be kind of chilling, enjoying those nice, pleasant games for the holiday season, maybe you're somebody that's kind of living on the edge and you just want something a little bit scarier, or whoever you're giving this to, they just might want something, just kind of to keep them up at night. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if, you want to get something like that to somebody as a gift, though, but I mean, whatever floats someone boats, whatever floats it though. So, I mean, Resident Evil 4 is definitely by far the gift to give to somebody, whether you like them or maybe you don't, or you want to treat that as like, coal in the stocking. You can definitely pull that mess off. All right, so that basically does in terms of third-party recommendations I have for y'all though. But if you're in the market for a first-party game, there's only basically a couple of things that Sony has managed to put out in the market for games that release this year though. So one of them happened to be Horizon Forbidden West, the complete edition, because that one right there, while yes, Horizon Forbidden West actually released before this year though, the DLC for the Burning Shores actually released early this year though. So now there's a complete edition out there that you can manage to go through and pick up. So, if you hadn't already done that, or you happen to know somebody that might want to be more on the adventurous side of things though, and wants to get a little bit experimental and stuff, I mean, yes, you can definitely go out there and pick up that game. So I would recommend that. And last but certainly not least, the biggest highlight for anything for giving somebody a PS5 in general, or if they already own the PS5, is none other than Spider-Man 2. It's personally one of my Game of the Year contenders right there. By far an amazing experience. While yes, it's not incredibly long, I mean, you can technically get through the story in about roughly about 20 hours or so though, but it's probably by far the most engaging and the most thrilling 20 hours I have put in the game in, in recent memory, period. End of discussion. Like it's just that good. The swinging interaction moments between Miles as well as Peter Parker. I mean, it just doesn't get better than that. Thought all the villains were, extremely good. The new traversal in the world, like you got this websuit and you're just like swinging through the city and stuff and just gliding everywhere, and then you got your traditional web slinging and stuff, and they made a lot of good improvements from the first Spider-Man and as well as Miles Morales, to where I like, you know what, this was 100% justified even at that $70 MSRP price. You're not going to get it cheaper than that unless you happen to get the bundle that had the PS5 included with the digital copy of that game though. So if you don't happen to need to buy the console with the game included in it, then definitely make sure you pick up this game. If nothing else out of my list, that is definitely the number one game to pick up, unless for some oddball reason you're just not a superhero fan. So that about does it in terms of my PlayStation recommendations. However, there is one more thing I guess I could have put up on there, and that is that PlayStation remote device. You can technically use it to play, your PS5 games and stuff while you're still on your home Wi-Fi network. Not even just your home Wi-Fi network, basically anywhere you go, as long as you have a Wi-Fi connection though. However, be aware that it's whatever game you have currently installed on your console or whatever disc that's currently in there though. Obviously, you have to have a really strong internet connection, and it's not like there's like any native software up inside of the device that allows you to basically play that game on the go with no Wi-Fi intended though. It's weird with the earbuds and stuff like that. You have to have Sony's actual dedicated earbuds in order to actually use that device though. But that PlayStation Portal though, it could be a good thing to pick up. It is roughly around $200 MSRP. That might be the harder thing to buy this holiday season, because as soon as it goes into stock, it does go out of stock fairly quickly though. So if that happens to, if you happen to be in the market for that item, that is a possible recommendation out there though, but it is going to be more of an acquired taste though. But make sure you do your little bit of homework and research before you get that little thing. All right, now with the PlayStation side of things out of the way, let's go ahead and just briefly talk about the Xbox stuff. I said I would throw y'all a little bit of a bone though. So if you happen to be in the market to getting a brand new Xbox Series system, you kind of missed the boat, because if you happen to have like a My Best Buy or Total Tech membership, if you had that membership, you could have bought that sucker for like $400 during Black Friday, though. That might have been the best deal I saw out there. Mine is getting a PS5, the old edition, for $350 with the Target Circle thing. That was a little bit crazy though, too, but that deal's gone though. I would recommend, if you're just looking for something to get for somebody and they don't care about graphics to the super high end or anything like that, I recommend getting an Xbox Series S. There's two different models. There's the one that's the 500 there's the one that's basically like half a terabyte size, and there's the 1 terabyte one. Half a terabyte size is about, that white color, and then the 1 terabyte size is the black one right there, though. But there is a little bit of a price difference between the two, but I still would recommend the Xbox Series S, the white model edition, because all you have to do is get that system and then, get some Xbox Game Pass, either just for the console version, or you can give them Ultimate, which allows you to play on console, PC, and even stream to like your mobile devices and stuff like that from the cloud. You can do all of that, and they will be set on every single game they might possibly want. Everything first party is carried in Xbox Game Pass, and you get a whole slew of different third party stuff. So, if you want to keep it real simple, that Xbox Series S with a little bit of Game Pass can go a very long way. Now that we got the PlayStation and the Xbox Series systems out of the way, now it's time to talk about the Nintendo stuff. This is where I would extremely highly recommend these games, especially if you're looking for someone that might be younger in the audience or just really loves Nintendo in general, like myself. So first off, if you're looking for consoles to buy for somebody, rest assured, yes, they finally got some different editions of consoles that don't just only come with Mario Kart 8, like they've been running for like the past few years. So we do have a little bit of diversity this time around. So starting off, if you want a Nintendo Switch OLED model, there is an OLED version out there that does include Super Smash Bros. Ultimate that comes in at $350. So even with that one, you actually get those limited edition Joy-Cons. Like, it's been a while since they actually had those in the rotation in the market though, because they were originally tied to that LCD model of the Nintendo Switch way back when though. But yeah, if you want to get a copy of Smash Bros. Ultimate as well as the Nintendo Switch OLED, you can manage to pick that up from any retailer for $350. Now, what if you're somebody that wants to get just the standard Nintendo Switch? Because, maybe you don't want to stretch your money out too far. You just want something just for a cheaper price than that. Well, I got something in store for you. So hopefully whoever you manage to give this to really loves themselves some Mario Kart, because you can buy the Nintendo Switch standard edition for $300 that comes with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And you can buy that system for them for also $300. Now, whether or not you pick the OLED edition with Smash Brothers or you pick the Nintendo Switch Basic Edition with Mario Kart 8 for $300, both of these two systems do also come with 3 months subscription to Nintendo Switch Online. It's just the basic tier, the one that gives you your NES as well as your Super Nintendo and Game Boy/Game Boy Color game. You can get all of that for either the $350 or $300 respectively, though. So I don't think you can necessarily go wrong with either one of these two editions. What if you're trying to look for something for somebody that might be a little younger in age, somebody that can't necessarily handle, the more expensive console that you can dock as well as take out handheld, or maybe they only just care about playing handheld, they like a little better form factor but don't need to happen to get a OLED model Switch or just the basic standard Switch? Well, got a little stuff in store for y'all, because if they happen to like, or you think they might like, Animal Crossing, there's a couple of deals out here. There's one edition that's favored for Target and one edition that's favored for Walmart though. But the Target one, you can manage to pick up a Nintendo Switch Lite that's that coral pink color for $200 that will come with a digital copy of Animal Crossing New Horizons. So yeah, you can manage to pick that up, but however, that is a Target exclusive, so keep that in mind. However, on the flip side of things, maybe you're not so much of a pink person, but you're like someone like myself that really likes the color blue. Well, you can also pick up the same thing, the Nintendo Switch Lite, for $200. However, it's in that turquoise color, so a little bit more on the blue inside. However, it's like the Tom Nook version of it, though. You can pick up that version at Walmart. So yeah, so if you like that Aloha pink version that has Isabelle and some cute little designs on the back, picked it up at Target. But if you're somebody that likes the color blue and stuff, and you like that Tom Nook on there and stuff, then you can manage to pick that edition up at Walmart. So both of these two games obviously do come with Animal Crossing New Horizons, a game that's valued at $60 MSRP though, so you're saving yourself an extra $60. It's already a Switch Lite. It cannot dock on the bigger TV right there. Just kind of keep that in mind though. But nonetheless, if you happen to give this to a kid, this could be a very good welcome gift for them. Now, in terms of just standard games, there's a plethora of Nintendo Switch titles that are out there, because literally this console has been on the market for nearly about 7 years right now, almost about to go on its 8th year, starting next year though. So there's a lot of games I could go out there and recommend, but I would keep narrow my search down just to recommend games that came out this year that maybe you just happen to skip out on, or you're someone jumping into the ecosystem just new. So I'll give you the brand new hot new take games that have released just this year alone. So starting off at the very beginning of my list, I had Super Mario Bros. Wonder. This game is definitely a great game for people to have, especially if you're a family that have multiple different kids in the household or multiple people in the household. A great family game right there. It is one of those games that's recommended or has been nominated into Family Game of the Year though. But yeah, you can go through, play this whole entire game with up to 4 people at one time. Play as Mario, Luigi, Daisy, Peach, any of the Toads, Yoshi, etc. though. So there's a lot of good diversity up in here. Definitely one of the better 2D Marios up to date. I felt like we hadn't had a really good 2D Mario since Super Mario Bros. World, and that was all the way back on the Super Nintendo though. So honestly, you can't go wrong with this one though. Just an easy platform that anybody can basically pick up and play. Now, what if you're somebody that wants to crave a little bit more of a challenge, or you're definitely somebody that's in the RPG market? Well, we got a throwback one for you, because there is a game that has released just literally this month, in the month of November, for Super Mario RPG. It is a remake of the classic one that was released on the Super Nintendo though. And it's all done with redone graphics, different, OSTs. You can go back and listen to the original soundtrack if you want, but there is some redone work with that though. Some quality of life changes that have been added and implemented into the game as well though. And then also they're managed to add in some post content within the game itself though. So honestly, between all the redone visuals, the extra little cutscenes up in there, and some modern quality of life things they managed to throw up in this game, though. I can't highly recommend it enough, especially if you're gotten an RPG itch. Now, if you or somebody else you happen to know happens to live more on the adventurous side of things, though, and you managed to play a little bit of Breath of the Wild, or you heard something about it in the past, though, or you played, any a plethora of Legend of Zelda games, there is a brand new hot game, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. If you happen to not get it by this point, I highly recommend doing so. It lives up to all the hype that has been surrounded with it with Breath of the Wild. If you've seen the stuff like that, just imagine Breath of the Wild and you just multiply that by like two. Like that's how much bigger, the world has gotten since they added the Sky World. There is like a big, massive underground area as well, the traversal. Even if you happen to have like somebody that you happen to know that likes building things and stuff, between the fuse abilities as well as Ultra Hand, you're able to craft almost any kind of thing, whether it helps you with combat or as well as just helps you with traversal, just navigating that brand new world. I mean, shoot, there's a lot of things you can do up in there. I definitely say the story was way better than the first game, though. But take what with you as you may, because it is an open world game. I thought they managed to handle this story just a little bit better than the first one, though. But nonetheless, it's still a great and remarkable experience. So if you hadn't managed to play Tears of the Kingdom, or if you know someone that hasn't already, an easy pick to make sure to go ahead and give to someone right there, though. Just a little bit of a recommendation, though. If they don't care about getting the game digitally, you could, if for some reason you happen to have someone that knows that they have a Nintendo Switch online account, then you technically could buy those vouchers, and that will essentially lower the game down to being $50 a pop, because those voucher systems, you can get 2 tickets for $100 and you use them for any Nintendo game that's first party as well as select third party games digitally, however, because this game normally MSRPs at $70. It's different from every other Nintendo game that usually MSRPs around 60 or maybe 50, or sometimes a little less if it's a little more of a budget game, though. So just kind of keep all of that in mind. Now, if you're somebody that really likes to multitask, or should I say Dandori, then yes, you can manage to go out and pick up Pikmin 4. While yes, it does have like an atmosphere that kind of could relate a lot with kids and stuff like that, between the nature and the different scenic things, and as well as those cute little Pikmin creatures, don't let yourself be fooled, because whole shoot, there are some levels way later in the game, once you get close to the tail end, that get a little tough. You got to be Dandorian and doing all that multitasking down to a T, though. But nonetheless, it's still a really great experience, though. I wouldn't say give this to like somebody that, give it to little Johnny that's only 5 years old. I don't think he's gonna manage to get through the whole game, though. But obviously somebody that's like a teenager and up, they could definitely handle this game, and it'll teach them a thing or two about, important things in life, and learning how to, multitask and do several different things at once. So it definitely would do that for them, though. So if they got a little itch for that, you can manage to give them that game as well. Now, while Pikmin 4 might not be suitable for all entire audiences, one game that would suit everybody is none other than Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe. That is a game that managed to come out earlier this year, though, and it's definitely one of those easier games for basically anybody to pick up, especially kids, because Kirby games in general, they just always had that, they always have that charm about it that allows anybody to basically go through it and pick it up. Well, I guess it's not only just meant for kids, anybody can play it, though, but definitely for kids in particular, they would definitely love and appreciate this game. It is a remake of the old classic that was actually released on the Nintendo Wii, though. So if you happen to be someone that wants just to kind of, relax, not have a super high stressful game to kind of get through, just kind of enjoy your experience with the game, you could manage to pick up that game as well. So that about does it in terms of all the game release stuff that managed to drop out this year that I would highly recommend. You could be someone out there to get Fire Emblem engaged and stuff like that. I could put it on my recommendation list, though, but between that art style and the story itself, I love the gameplay. I couldn't personally recommend it. You had to be a diehard Fire Emblem fan for me to recommend that to you, though. However, there are things that you could get if you manage to buy a Nintendo Switch Online subscription-based service. So with that, there's two different tiers. There's the basic tier and there's the expansion pack tier. There's the basic tier that comes in at a cost of $20 a year, and this is individual prices. Or you can manage to get that expansion pack tier for $50. Now, if you happen to have a family full of people and you're running different accounts on the same Nintendo Switch, and you want to make sure everybody has their own save files and all that stuff, though, then you can upgrade to family memberships for both of them. So then, like, the family membership for the basic tier goes up to $35, And then you also have the family subscription fee for the expansion pack tier that goes up to $80 for the whole entire year, though. So between both of those, if you average out the cost between all of the people you might have in your family groups and stuff, you can manage to save quite a bit of money. But obviously, the basic tier, you have access to playing everything from NES, Super Nintendo, and Game Boy/Game Boy Color games. You move on the expansion pack side of things, that's where things get a little more interesting. You have Nintendo 64, you manage to have Game Boy Advance, and you also have the Sega Genesis system games, though. So a lot of things to offer between all of these. And even if you don't happen to get a whole bunch of games that I just recently recommended earlier in this video, though, if you manage to get just one of these two tiers, then you will give them a whole slew of games, though. While you only would get Game Boy, NES, and Super Nintendo, obviously the expansion pack tier, you get the N64, you'll get the Game Boy Advance, you'll get the Sega Genesis, in addition to those first three things I managed to say right there. So a lot of games that are on this system right now, I highly recommend it at this point. There's just a whole bunch of games you can manage to play on there, though. So you can't necessarily go wrong just giving someone a subscription based service thing and just say have at it with all these retro games. This, can favor anybody super young to somebody that is really old, that has a lot of nostalgia for a lot of these older games. Phew. Oh boy. All right. So that was a ton of games and a ton of different consoles and stuff. I managed to recommend from the PlayStation side of things, the Nintendo, and a little bit of a bone I managed to throw to the Xbox people out there, though. Me personally, I can highly recommend a lot of stuff I mentioned for the PlayStation ecosystem, as well as the Nintendo side of ecosystem as well, though. So I would love to hear all your thoughts down in the comment section down below, because obviously most of these things I recommended is stuff that has released and dropped just this year, though. Obviously, there's a whole slew of different things that you can manage to get that has released in earlier years for both the Nintendo Switch as well as the PlayStation as well. That I would love to hear down in the comment section down below. Help the fellow viewers out, because you might have played a really good game this year that I didn't have time to actually go through and mention, though. But you might be able to actually go through and help somebody else out that might be weighing their options between a couple of different things, though. So I'd love to see your recommendations down below in the comments, though. But that's going to basically do it in terms of today's video. So hopefully this helps anybody out there in terms of whether or not you're trying to give somebody a gift or you're trying to get something for yourself or something like that. So hopefully this video helps everybody out there, gamers new or gamers old. But that's going to basically do it in terms of today's video. So if you really like it, make sure you go and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember, y'all, until whatever video I make next, see y'all.